Right now at 7, fire danger is on the rise across Texas, and now Governor Abbott is taking action. What's behind the growing threat and where emergency crews are being sent next.
And it's been 2 weeks since the government shutdown began, and there's still no end in sight. What lawmakers are saying this morning about the next possible funding moves.
And dry weather will continue into today and for the next few days. I'll show you exactly what you can expect temperature-wise coming up in your forecast on Morning Y'all on CBS 19 Plus.
Together, we're putting East Texas first. You're watching Morning Y'all on CBS 19 Plus.
I know it hasn't really been feeling like it, but Halloween is about 2 weeks away now. Time to start preparing. We know what kids and adults are going as this year. Yeah, we're going to reveal the top picks and maybe what our dress-up plans should be if we want to be in style with the latest trends and everything Halloween.
We should dress up for the shows.
Oh, that would be fun. Well, at least for part of it.
Part of it.
Maybe a little segment.
Right.
It's going to have to be something easy, like my ghost costume.
Right, it'll be fun. Just something easy. Good morning, y'all. Thanks for staying up with us here on CBS 19 Plus. I'm Jesus Martinez.
And I'm Dana Dixon. We're so glad you're starting your morning with us. And Joel's starting it over with a beautiful sunrise behind him this morning. And if you could feel what it was like outside right now, it's chilly actually this morning.
It's actually a little bit chilly. Yeah, you might actually need to have a little light jacket as you head out the door this morning. We had a mix of 50s and 60s. Take a look at these temperatures. How about 54 degrees in Carthage, 54 in Center. We also got some 60s on the board as well. We got 61 in Tyler. We also have 64 in Palestine. So kind of a mixed bag of 50s and 60s. If you want to get out for a run or maybe a walk, depending on who you are and what you're feeling today, it's going to be a very nice forecast, at least going through the rest of this morning. Starting to warm up, though, by 11. We'll be up to about 83. I think we'll peak at about 88 degrees for this afternoon. So by this afternoon, probably not the best idea to go out and run, as it will be very, very toasty and lots of sunshine radiating down. It's going to be a very hot day. Luckily, we do have like a little bit of an east-northeast wind of about 5 to 10 miles per hour. So there'll be a little bit of a light breeze there, but not too much as we head out the door this afternoon. Temperatures in the upper 80s for the next 3 days. We will have a little bit of a change in that forecast going into this weekend. I'll show you what that means in your full forecast coming up later.
All right, Joel, thanks so much. Just into our newsroom this morning, Texas State Representative Gina Hinojosa says she's running for governor in 2026, challenging Greg Abbott. Now, Representative Hinojosa criticized Abbott's school voucher program and says she wants to focus on issues like affordable health care and keeping neighborhood schools open. She joins several Democrats hoping to take on Abbott, who has a strong fundraising lead for this race.
7:07, time to talk about the government shutdown. It's now in its third week, and worry is starting to creep in for families across the country. Federal workers are starting to live off partial pay, while food assistance programs are beginning to run out of money.
And House Speaker Mike Johnson is warning the shutdown could be the longest to date, with Republicans and Democrats struggling to find a way forward. Jared Hill has the latest.
For military spouses like Brittany Leclerc, a bit of relief on day 15 of the government shutdown.
I don't make nearly as much as my husband, not even half, so it's going to be rough.
That was her concern before the Trump administration rearranged Pentagon funds to make sure service members got paid today. But it's not clear how long the funds will last.
I wish that they would get their things together.
No luck on Capitol Hill.
The motion is not agreed to.
The Senate rejecting the GOP funding bill for an 8th time as Democrats continue to push for an extension to health care subsidies under the Affordable Care Act.
Why don't we just have a negotiation, figure out what the fix for these rising premiums are going to be, and then open the government and implement it?
These are unserious proposals from unserious people, and they're playing games while real Americans are being harmed adversely by the shutdown.
President Trump threatened more cuts as he offered a $20 billion bailout to Argentina.
We are closing up Democrat programs that we disagree with, and they're never going to open again.
Food pantries are working to keep shelves stocked as SNAP nutrition benefits could begin to run dry.
We're doing emergency fundraising so that we can make sure we have extra food available.
Air traffic controllers are urging lawmakers to strike a deal after getting only a portion of their paychecks, though now they won't get paid again until after the shutdown. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Lawmakers will still receive pay during the shutdown, though, while many federal workers have already missed their first full paychecks. And now East Texans are worried about delayed services and their paychecks as well.
That's right. Congressman Nathaniel Moran says Congress needs to stop the political games and focus on solutions. Moran said President Trump has provided temporary funding for some programs in federal worker pay, but those measures won't last. Some East Texas federal employees, that is, are still waiting for their paychecks, and key programs are being disrupted. Moran says ongoing shutdowns hurt everyday Americans and block Congress from making long-term policy decisions.
Again, these shutdowns are not something we should desire, nor should we roll over on to get out of. We cannot decide bad long-term policy for the taxpayer just to get out of a short-term shutdown. So that's where we're at right now.
He supports legislation that would automatically extend funding every 2 weeks during a shutdown, removing the high-stakes negotiation and keeping critical services running for East Texans and the rest of the country.
President Trump awards the late Charlie Kirk with the nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. In the White House Rose Garden, the president presented the award to Kirk's wife, Erica. Yesterday would have been the conservative activist's 32nd birthday. Kirk, who was a friend and political ally of President Trump, was assassinated last month during a speaking event at Utah Valley University.
5 weeks ago, our nation was robbed of this extraordinary champion. He was a champion in every way. I got to know him so well. He didn't like losing, and he was able to fight people that were enemies.
The House and Senate approved resolutions last month, making yesterday a national day of remembrance for Kirk.
7:11 this morning. Time now for your morning headlines. Just days into the historic Middle East peace deal, frustration is growing this morning. In an exclusive interview with CBS News, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said peace in the Middle East is dependent upon Hamas upholding its end of the U.S. brokered peace agreement. Netanyahu and President Trump expressed dissatisfaction with Hamas yesterday after remains of only 8 hostages were returned to Israel, leaving the remains of 20 hostages killed in captivity still unaccounted for. Israel said it would cut in half the number of aid trucks it's allowing into Gaza because of the delay of return of those deceased hostages. And this morning, the neo-soul and R&B communities are mourning the loss of Grammy-winning singer D'Angelo. He passed away yesterday after battling cancer. The singer, whose real name was Michael Archer, was known for his raspy yet smooth voice. D'Angelo released 3 albums in his career, 2 of which won Grammys. He was 51 years old. And make sure to check your cabinets today before making that lunch or dinner. Ben's Original is voluntarily recalling some of its packages of its long grain white rice, whole grain brown rice, and long grain and wild ready rice because they could contain small stones in them. The company says the stones are naturally occurring in the rice field, and the FDA says no one has gotten sick, though right now the company is taking those extra steps to remove those products from the stores.
All right, it's time for our question of the day. It may be National Grouch Day. Don't buy into it. No need to be grumpy this morning. The weekend is right around the corner. So what is something that gives you joy?
Seeing y'all every morning.
Oh, that's
it makes it so much
you guys
easier.
too.
And everyone else who works here as well. We have a great team here on the morning show.
We absolutely do.
We really do.
For me, it's watching my kids play sports or whatever it is that gives them joy. Last night I was up late watching volleyball. Didn't go our way, but I still loved watching it.
She's a trooper every time.
Yeah, it's crazy. McKinney's far, in case anybody was curious. My goodness.
Pretty far away. I would say a couple things. Being able to do what I love every day here at CBS19, getting to tell everybody the weather. It's such a dream come true. I've been wanting to do this ever since I was 7 years old. So it's pretty cool that I get to do this every day now. And on the other side of what gives me joy is my fiance, of course. I got to hang out with her for the past couple days, and it's always great because we are long distance right now. So it's a hard situation, but it always brings me joy just to be able to hang out with her and laugh with her, and it's great.
You got to clip this and send that to her.
Oh, I definitely will.
She will love that. Well, we want you to tell us what gives you joy. You can go over to our Facebook page where we posted this question. We want to hear it. Maybe it'll spark a little joy in our lives this morning. You know what gives me joy? Cooler temperatures. It truly does. 75 and sunny is like my favorite thing in life. And then go outside, watch a little college football. all
Call
the
it a
joy.
day. A little snack on the patio.
I wish that we could make that happen, but not today. You know, the traffic, how's it looking out there? Is it a joy-inducing day or a little bit of a stress situation?
You know, I would say for the most part. Let's take a look at our CBS19 on-scene unit this morning. We're still on Troop Highway this morning. Here's something that gave you joy, the sunrise. It's very nice this morning. The clear skies overhead and traffic starting to pick up just a little bit, but luckily we got some dry roadways over here. I do want to bring our attention to the Wascom. We do have an accident on westbound I-20. That's going to be in Wascom. Westbound lanes are closed due to the accident. All traffic is to exit at FM 134 and proceed to the frontage road if you are within that area. So again, that's westbound I-20. Westbound lanes are closed due to this accident. All traffic is to exit at FM 134 and proceed to the frontage road. All right, let's bring it on over to our commute forecast here. Weather-wise, we're doing just fine. I'm giving you green lights all the way through this morning and green lights all the way through this afternoon. Shouldn't be any issues weather-wise as we head into the rest of the day. Just going to be a little bit on the toasty side with temperatures in the upper 80s. Luckily, plenty of sunshine.
All right, Joel, thanks so much. 7:15 this morning. It's not every day you get a surprise in the mail, especially one that's been for decades in the making. But that's exactly what happened to a retired Lodi teacher when he opened an unexpected package that is from an old student. And what was inside? A small item with a big story behind it.
When retired Lodi teacher Rod Wozniak picked up his mail, he received a package he wasn't expecting.
I saw my name, so I knew it was to me, but I saw the return address, and it said the last name was Gentner, and I knew my wife is related to the Gantners, so I handed it to her, and I said, well, let me see it again.
That's when he took a closer look at the sender's name.
And I saw the name Brenton Gentner, which kind of hit me, but I wasn't quite sure, so I opened it, and that's when I was surprised to see a book that he had basically borrowed 40 years ago.
Inside was a geometry book he used to hand out to his students, along with a handwritten note.
The note said, Rod, I found this book which belongs to you. Thank you for letting me borrow it for the last 40 years. Sincerely, Brent Gentner. I was more shocked when I read the note saying I've had it for 40 years, because you don't realize how long the time has gone since you had contact with that person.
So why did Brent still have this book, and why did he send it back after all these years? I asked him.
You know, I was kind of a nerd back then. I was interested in math and science and that kind of stuff, and so he had books that students could check out. Eventually, I moved out to Florida and I moved all my stuff here, and it was still in boxes.
Brent eventually went through the boxes and found this book with Rod Wozniak's name printed on the front page.
I was like, I wonder if I mail it to him, what would happen? I just thought it'd be kind of funny. Like 40 years later.
And even after all this time, Brent still thinks of Rod as one of his favorite teachers.
He cared about his students. He felt like he really knew what was going on with his students and if they were having a bad day or a good day or whatever. So he was great. He was definitely one of my favorite teachers.
A little book helping to bring student and teacher back together.
It kind of makes you appreciate that a lot of things that you've done with kids in class, most of it is memories, but there might be something that they have kept over the years.
Well, that photo evidence and a handwritten thank you, this teacher-student bond stood the test of time all across a country move. All right, still ahead this morning, 7:18, we're heading to Lindale, where Macy Luster hit a major milestone, 2,000 career assists. We've got the highlights from Eagles versus Athens just ahead, plus a look at this week's big football matchups, all coming up.
And scrolling for the perfect Halloween costume, some of those spooky good deals online might be too good to be true. Up next, how to spot scams before they haunt your wallet.
It's time for CBS 19 Sports.
Morning, y'all. Dan Millay with your sports here. Appreciate you joining us. We're going to head out to Eagles country. Lindale hosting Athens for some volleyball last night. But before we get to the highlights, shout out to Macy Luster, who picked up her 2,000th career assist last night in front of her home crowd. And here is the senior. We joined in the third set after she's already made history. Lindale won the first two, so hoping to sweep here in the third. And this is a good start. Luster picks up assist number 2001 as Ella Hutchins spikes it home. And these two have got the system working. Skylar McDonald to Luster to Hutchins once again, and Athens just has no answer for that. In fact, these two are so nice, they had to do it to them thrice. Luster and Hutchins go together like bacon and eggs with your breakfast platter. Hornets trying to put something together here, but that kill shot is sent back by Alyssa Potts and Addison Daughtry up at the net. Later on, Cade Smith keeps it alive for Emery Schmidt, who sets things up for Lauren Stanton. That Stantonian spike keeps things rolling for the Eagles, just making it look easy. Luster checks back in, and she's got 2,000 career assists for a reason, folks. Puts that on a silver platter for Potts, who slams it home. But check out this play. Stanton starts at another assist from Luster, and Stanton finishes it. No return in that one. Looking to close it out, it's Kennedy Terry on the serve. Athens tries to mount a return, but it falls just short. Lindale takes this one in straight sets, 25-18, 25-7, and then 25-10, improving to 27-13 with just 3 regular season contests to go. Switching to local football, we've got a 2A district showdown with Timpson hitting the road to take on Shelbyville for our Thursday night live stream game. Those visiting Bears seem to have gotten on to the right track recently, winning 2 of their last 3, including stopping Hemphill last Friday 55-0. The season's been a bit of a struggle for the Dragons. Meanwhile, they're just 1-5 to this point, but they did put up a solid fight last week, losing just 35-33 at Garrison. Jimmy Searfoss will have the call at 7:30 Thursday night. Tune in on CBS 19 Plus. For our kickoff show site game, folks, I'm really excited for this one. We'll be in Lindale as the Eagles play host to Kilgore. Number 2 versus number 3 on our Beats Texas Fab 15. The Eagles are still undefeated at 6-0 after dominating Palestine last week, 43-14, while Kilgore improved to 6-1 after taking down Chapel Hill, 21-7. Two of the best teams in East Texas going at it in this one. Join Jimmy and me on the desk at Eagle Stadium live at 6:30 Friday night. And of course, make sure to come on back for all the highlights from across Beast Texas at 10. And finally, for our game of the week, how about Gilmer at Van? The strong and steady Vandals hosting the upstart Buckeyes. Gilmer finally kicked its losing ways last week with a 36-25 win over Pittsburgh, looking like they could be getting their groove back after that 1-4 start. Van's had a better season so far at 4-2, just losing a couple non-district games against good teams in Lindale and Sunnyvale. The Buckeyes did take this matchup last year, so they're hoping history repeats itself this time out at Van Memorial Stadium. Last night in NBA preseason action, just a week away from tipping off the regular season, Tari Eason throws it down for the Rockets. Second quarter, another one for Eason. He'd finish with 20 points. Later on, check out the reverse and 1 finish from Amen Thompson. He'd go for 21 with 5 boards to close out the first half. Give it to the Slim Reaper. Kevin Durant beats the buzzer. Third quarter, Jabari Smith was on one last night, cashing this transition 3 on his way to a game-high 26 points. And then finally, KD converts for the and 1 as the Rockets sneak past the Pelicans 130-128. And in Major League Baseball, Game 2 of the NLCS last night between the Dodgers and Brewers. Milwaukee had the early 1-0 lead until Teoscar Hernandez hits a skyscraper down the left field line to tie it up. Later in the top of the second, Andy Pages slices one into the right field corner. Kike Hernandez on his horse with 2 outs. He'll score all the way from first to put LA up 1. And then 2-1 becomes 3-1 as Max Muncy takes this pitch out to dead center field. Dodgers would add on a couple more runs to win it 5-1, taking a 2-0 NLCS lead before heading to the City of Angels on Thursday. Also a complete game for Yoshinobu Yamamoto. They're back. Complete games are back, folks. But that's all the time we have for sports. More than y'all. Back to y'all.
All right, Dan, thanks so much. We're about to step away for a quick moment while we break over there to do a quick news update.
Yeah, we'll be right back with more here on CBS 19 Plus and over on CBS 19.
Good morning, y'all. I'm Jesus Martinez.
And I'm Dana Dixon. Thanks for being with us for this news update. The fire danger is climbing in Texas today, and state agencies are now mobilized to respond.
Governor Greg Abbott has activated more resources and expanded a disaster declaration. East Texas is seeing elevated wildfire conditions due to that dry vegetation and the possibility of high winds later in the week. The Texas A&M Forest Service has raised that wildfire preparedness to a level 3.
East Texas, with the conditions that we've had now, we haven't had the high winds, fortunately, but it is dry. The temperature is still going back up to the upper 80s and 90s in the day. The fuel is very dry. The fuel will burn easily, even the green grass. But we've already been forewarned about a wind event that may be coming.
Many state agencies are making resources available to support wildfire response operations. And in West Texas, they are preparing for flooding. A house fire that displaced 3 people is now being called arson, and now the woman who lived there is facing charges. Fire officials say 25-year-old Tasha Neal was arrested Monday and booked into the Gray County Jail. She lived at the home on Houston Street that went up in flames on the morning of September 13th. Fire crews knocked the blaze down, but the damage totaled around $80,000. Investigators quickly began treating it as an arson and later identified Neal as the suspect.
Happening today, the city of Tyler set to welcome special guests from its sister city, Jelenia Góra, Poland. Now, the group will meet with Mayor Don Warren and city officials for a tour, celebration, and gift exchange at City Hall, marking more than 30 years of friendship between the two cities. And afterward, the delegation will visit the Rose Garden, one of the several landmarks they'll see. This comes right before the kickoff to the Texas Rose Festival. And all things rosy gets underway tomorrow morning with a ribbon cutting and rose presentation. It runs through Sunday. This year's Rose Festival theme is a tapestry of tales. Just text the word ROSE to 903-600-2600 and we'll send you a full list of those rosy events.
Sounds like it's going to be a great time, and hopefully this weather is even better today and into the weekend, Joel.
That's right. Yeah, the weather for today is going to be very sunny, and temperatures are going to still be on the warm side. The only thing that we're going to have to really watch for here is the fire danger. There are no low risks on this map. We either have moderate, high, or very high here across the area. And so we do have burn bans that continue to be in effect. We also have more burn bans that include more counties across the area. We got Nacogdoches County now included. We also have Center, Hemphill, Lufkin, Jacksonville, Palestine, to just name a few counties here, still within that burn ban until further notice. Now, our next system that we're going to be watching for is off to the west. Meanwhile, we're still dealing with this high pressure area that's going to keep us warm. It's also going to keep us dry and sunny. The weather picture is really good, but it's not good when it comes to fire weather. So when we go into our 7-day forecast here, especially going into this weekend, that's going to be our next chance of rain. Could perhaps get some strong to severe thunderstorms, however.
Welcome back to Morning Y'all here on CBS19 Plus.
Yeah, this is what's coming up in our second half hour. Instagram is making big changes for teen users. What's being filtered out and how the new rules could impact millions of young users.
And missing for 4 months, but now Domingo the dog is finally back home with its owner. Now he's bringing hope and healing to his own owner who's facing her battle.
And we got a pretty dry forecast in the meantime. That is until we get to this weekend. We are currently keeping our eye on our next system, which is currently spinning off to the west over the western half of Nevada. That could bring in some stronger severe thunderstorms. I'll show you when and where to expect all that in your full forecast coming up on Morning Y'all on CBS 19 Plus.
Together, we're putting East Texas first. You're watching Morning Y'all on CBS 19 Plus.
Good Wednesday morning, y'all. I'm Dana Dixon.
And I'm Jesus Martinez. Thank you so much for joining us and staying with us here on CBS 19 Plus. This morning, Hamas is facing new threats from Washington and Tel Aviv after turning over just 8 bodies so far. Around 20 are still believed to be in Gaza.
Yeah, on social media, President Trump wrote that the job is not done and the dead have not been returned as promised. The president also warns that Hamas could face consequences if it does not disarm. CBS News' Jared Hill has more.
Just days into the historic Middle East peace deal, frustration is growing. Hamas has returned only a handful of remains of deceased hostages held in Gaza.
I want them back.
Tuesday, President Trump demanded that Hamas hand over the rest of the bodies, writing on social media, "The job is not done." The president also issued this threat after Hamas rejected calls to give up its weapons, a key term of phase 2 of the ceasefire deal.
If they don't disarm, we will disarm them.
In an exclusive CBS News interview, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the fragile agreement depends on Hamas keeping its word.
First, Hamas has to give up its arms. And second, you want to make sure that there are no weapons factories inside Gaza. There's no smuggling of weapons into Gaza. I hope we can do this peacefully.
Both Hamas and the Red Cross have warned that the destruction in Gaza has made it difficult to recover some of the bodies, and the process will take time. Israel had threatened to reduce the number of aid trucks allowed into Gaza after Hamas initially returned just 4 bodies. After Hamas handed over the remains of 4 more people, late Tuesday, Israeli news reported that the country has decided to reopen the Rafah crossing with Egypt. Jared Hill, CBS News.
The Hostages and Missing Families Forum, a group representing the hostage families, called for the peace plan to be suspended until every deceased individual is returned. The one family member of a deceased hostage told Reuters that going back to war should not be an option.
And East Texas Congressman Athena Moran says while this marks a major step towards peace, it's just the start of a much bigger effort. He said the ceasefire is giving families hope after years of violence, but lasting peace will take more than just diplomacy. He praised President Trump's leadership in brokering the deal, but warns the U.S. must remain vigilant. He says America needs to stand with Israel, and he believes international cooperation and strong U.S. involvement will be key in keeping extremist groups in check.
What really needs to change is the hearts and the minds of those that are living in the Middle East so that they internalize the desire and the need for peace and stability and prosperity long term for everybody in the region. We've got to remember there's still a terrorist organization out there, Hamas, and they've got friends and allies with the Houthis and Hezbollah and many in Iran that still want to see the destruction of Israel.
He adds that education and economic opportunity in Gaza will be critical to building a foundation for lasting peace in the region. And you can watch that full interview with Congressman Moran on the ceasefire deal and the ongoing government shutdown anytime on our CBS 19 Plus app, which you can download for free on your smart TV. Closer to home now, the Smith County Commissioners Court had a busy week this week with their meeting yesterday. So many items on their agenda.
Yeah, from a courthouse plaque donation, dog care donation, and an animal control pay update. Ayana Aird has the story.
Commissioners accepted a cornerstone plaque donation from the local Mason Lodge. That plaque will be placed at the new courthouse.
It's something that Masons have done for many, many years. A lot of courthouses have cornerstones. It's historically, a lot of courthouses do that. Not only courthouses, but other buildings as well in other communities.
The court will choose a day with good weather to hold a ceremony for the plaque presentation, ensuring it's in place when the new courthouse opens its doors. Smith County Fire Marshal Chad Hogue spoke to the court about a $1,500 donation they received to help care for the 44 dogs recently seized by the county.
People are very generous around here, and when they hear of something troubling to them, like animals that might not be in a good situation, they're going to step up, and they did that here.
Judge Franklin went on to say that anytime a government entity receives outside donations, it benefits everyone, including taxpayers. Another major item on the court's agenda was the pay structure for animal control staff in the upcoming fiscal year. The proposal would adjust the pay scales for the shelter coordinator and the animal control supervisor.
We're making some changes today. As everyone knows, we've had some changes within animal control, and so it's forced us to look at the staffing structure, and so we're making changes.
The court approved the changes so the county can post the openings and give animal control more flexibility in staffing. Ayana Aird, CBS 19.
7:37 now. Instagram has announced a new policy aimed at protecting kids online. Teen users will only see content on the app that's similar to what they might see on a PG-13 rated film. And the site will hide or even limit more mature or sensitive content for those under 18, like swear words, risky stunts, and accounts that routinely post adult content. Every teen account will automatically be opted in.
Really what we wanted to do was speak the language of parents, and parents really know and understand movie rating standards. We train artificial intelligence to be able to find and remove the kind of content that a teen shouldn't see, or make sure that they're not seeing content that would be inappropriate for a teen.
Instagram's parent company Meta says parents will have the ability to make these controls even more restrictive, but cannot read the conversations their teens have on the app. All right, spooky season. While people say they'll spend more on Halloween, their costumes and candy are also going to cost a lot more this year.
Yeah, with higher prices, many are looking for some deals. Why not? But experts warn that scammers, they're ready to take advantage as well. Megan Bragg verifies what you need to look out for when you're getting those Halloween goodies.
Scrolling through costume sites like this one, you can see that adult costumes range anywhere from $400 to $25. You may want to look for cheaper outfits, but beware, there are some deals that are too good to be true. So let's verify.
Our source is Juliana Rourke with the Charlotte Better Business Bureau and the National Retail Federation. According to the National Retail Federation, Halloween spending is expected to reach a record of $13 billion. As many are trying to find deals online, O'Rourke says be careful where you look.
Every holiday, it doesn't even matter what the holiday is. Scammers lurk out of the woodwork, but they live on social media. They love serving these ads.
You've probably seen those spooky good deals haunting your social media feed, offers that seem too good to be true, but there are ways to tell which ones are a real treat.
If there's images on that page, which of course there's going to be, reverse search on Google to see where else those images are appearing. And if the price seems too good to be true, it's probably because it is.
O'Rourke says check the website. Make sure it starts with HTTPS. Look for any misspellings or funky wording. There are also tools you can use to spot a scam. A rule of thumb is to always use a credit card because you can report fraud on that card. And if you're trying to save money, see what you already own.
Just look around your house to see what you might already have. Check a thrift store, get an idea and see how maybe you could build it, or even potentially swap costumes with a friend.
With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
That ghost costume keeps coming back in handy.
It's cheap and easy.
That's right. All you need is a white sheet and some scissors and maybe some black marker.
Or tie-dye, make it fun, right?
Oh, okay. I've never seen a tie-dyed ghost, but hey, why not?
We'll make one work. All right, take a look at this new material out on the market. It may look like regular wood, but this one is up to 10 times its strength to weight ratio of steel, and it's also 6 times lighter. There it is. It's called Superwood, and it has just launched commercially. The wood's superpower comes from a bath in water in certain chemicals. From there, a hot press collapses the wood at the cellular level and it makes it much denser. American company Invent Wood CEO says the material would allow for structures to be potentially up to 4 times lighter than today, meaning structure would be more earthquake resistant and easier on these foundations. It's crazy. We're making wood now.
Wow. We're talking about super powerful, super strong. Is it going to be super expensive?
Probably.
Right. super duper, uber schmooper.
I feel like if you put super along with anything, it's like...
I want to know how that will do with tornadoes.
Right.
I would love to know.
That'd be another different aspect with Mother Nature and flooding.
And weather and
weather. How will it stand against weather? That's what I would like to know as a meteorologist.
Only time will tell.
Only time will tell.
If we can afford it.
All right, she's the most decorated U.S. women's gymnast of all time. But will Simone Biles compete in the 2028 Olympic Games in Los Angeles? The spring native says she isn't ruling it out. During a recent event in Argentina, Biles said she'll be in L.A. in some way, but she does not know yet if she'll be competing or watching. She added she is taking some time off from the gym right now to focus on her mental health. The 2028 Los Angeles Olympics will mark the first time the Summer Games have been held in the U.S. since 1996. That's when Atlanta served as host. The last time she took a little break, she came back stronger than ever. So
time to do it again.
I don't count her out. She's pretty impressive.
She's short, but she is a super force to be reckoned with.
Well, that's kind of how all gymnasts roll. You know, they roll a little bit better.
They do.
I mean, it's hard to do all those flips when you're like 6 foot tall.
Right, and we have our little gymnast here in East Texas. Still went to, for the last Olympics, did a story on little gymnast, inspired by Simone Biles. And there's quite a few talented kids out there who can toss and turn more than I can even get out of bed and walk.
It's amazing.
I hurt just watching them.
Right.
Anyways.
All right, well, Halloween is around the corner, like we mentioned, and according to a recent survey, Americans are planning to spend big on costumes. And here are the top costumes, right, for this year. Superman is the popular choice for kids. The survey finds out that 2.3 million people were dressed up as a comic book hero. Princess, Witch, and Ghost costumes are up next on that popular list. And the most favored dress-up character for adults this Halloween is expected to be a witch, a vampire, or maybe even a pirate. Why not? Many people are even including their four-legged friends in the costume fun, with the most popular one for our pets being a pumpkin.
Oh, I miss those days when my kids dressed up. We have high schoolers now.
They don't dress up now?
I mean...
Not for fun, like during Halloween?
Yes, like if they have like a school event or whatever, they love dress up then. But as far as they're not going trick-or-treating anymore, I think they'd be turned away at the door, as they should be.
Well, they're missing out on free candy.
Well,
it's never told to trick-or-treat.
They can now just go down the street and get it themselves.
That's
I think
fair.
You know, what was your favorite costume as a kid?
I think my favorite one as a kid, hands down, I know I did the doctor one. There's another one I can't think of, but I think the doctor one was my favorite because at the time I wanted to be a doctor. So I was like speaking it into existence. But then I figured out that you need a lot of brain power to be a doctor. And I have a lot of brain power. I just don't have the money to buy, to do medical school and all that.
That's why they made loans.
That's why I don't want to pay loans. I already have enough loans as it is.
What about you? Favorite costume?
So my favorite monster was a mummy, and I remember being a mummy when I was in 3rd grade. I would say that's probably one of my favorite ones. And then another one another monster I was what was it? Vampire. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was a really good
mummy,
costume.
how did you wrap yourself?
Oh no, it was just like a mummy mask.
Okay.
And it was like a pre-made costume. I didn't actually toilet paper myself.
You didn't toilet paper yourself?
No, I didn't.
No one TP'd you.
Nobody TP'd me.
Also really inexpensive if you want to go that direction.
That is very inexpensive. I'm still on the sheet train with Dana.
I know, it's easy.
It's easy, affordable. Tie-dyed if you want to make it fun.
I've mentioned this before. For some reason, my mom made me a witch a lot and then also a clown. Every other year, a witch and a clown, a witch and a clown. I was like, I need something new.
Right.
I need to change it up a little
clown
bit.
Costume. Interesting.
Well, this weather's clowning around, that's for sure.
It's what, middle of October now?
Yeah, it's the middle of October, but it feels like
middle of September,
not that.
August.
Not that at all.
And it's leading to like fire danger. That's something that we're preparing for. It's climbing in Texas today, and state agencies, well, they're ramping up for that.
Yeah, Governor Greg Abbott, that is, activated more resources and expanded the disaster declaration as dry and hot weather raises that fire risk across the state. East Texas is also seeing that elevated wildfire conditions because of that dry vegetation and the possibility of high winds later this week. The Texas A&M Forest Service raised that wildfire preparedness to a level 3. And meanwhile, over in West Texas, they have a risk of heavy rainfall and the possibility of flooding. Governor Abbott ordered the Texas Division of Emergency Management to activate those emergency response.
East Texas, with the conditions that we've had now, we haven't had the high winds, fortunately, but it is dry. The temperature is still going back up to the upper 80s and 90s in the day. The fuel is very dry. The fuel will burn easily, even the green grass. But we've already been forewarned about a wind event that may be coming.
Many state agencies are making resources available to support local flood and wildfire response operations if and when needed. All right, 7:46 now. Let's get it checking that forecast now with Joel. Lots of counties now under those burn bans.
That's correct. Yeah, we got more counties from yesterday that are now in these burn bans here, now including areas like Nacogdoches County. We also have Shelby County included in this as well as Sabine County. So all these counties that you see in red are still within that burn ban until further notice. We are very, very quiet as we look outside. Temperatures are in the upper 50s to low 60s and lots of clear skies here across the area. That is a result of that lower humidity. Yes, it's comfortable, but you know it is not good for fire danger at all. We got, again, upper 50s, low 60s as you step out the door this morning. It's very, very nice. Luckily, the winds are kind of staying at bay so far. We're pretty calm here across the area. I do expect these winds to kind of pick up just a little bit as we head into this afternoon. We'll see an east-northeasterly breeze of around 5 to 10 miles per hour. And as we take a look at our runcast here, it's going to be really great weather. It's already great weather to just step outside and just maybe even go for a walk. But if you are so inclined to go for a run, I definitely would recommend the morning. It's going to start to warm up as we move into 11 a.m. And of course, later in the day, we are going to be up to about 88 degrees. Again, there's that east-northeast wind of around 5 to 10 miles per hour, so there'll be a little bit of a light breeze for today. 88 degrees will continue into the rest of this 3-day forecast. Only thing different is the cloud cover that will be moving in on Friday and especially Saturday as a cold front will start to trigger in some showers and thunderstorms. I'll show you all you need to know in your full forecast coming up after the break.
All right, thanks, Joel. 7:47 this morning. Listening to her body may have saved her life, and now one woman is using her brush with a serious heart condition to help inspire others to take care of their health.
And a lot of employers say they are fed up with job candidates using AI to generate resumes and cover letters. How that human touch can actually help you land the job. Welcome back. 7:50 now. Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer of women. There are several types, but coronary artery disease is the most common. What one woman experienced, though, was far more rare. In this morning's Wellness Wednesday, she is sharing her heartfelt story of how listening to her body probably saved her life. Mary Nelson has the story.
Tracy Corwin's always been a girl's girl. She built a business for women.
I do wigs and hair toppers and help boost their confidence when they've lost some hair.
She's learned that everyone has a story and that she could use hers to inspire.
29 years ago, I had a little girl.
It started with her first child, Tori Lynn.
And she was born with a severe heart defect and went through, at 3 months old, she went through open heart surgery 3 times. And we lost her when she was 3.5 months old.
There was no family history of heart problems, and for Tracy herself, no underlying conditions.
I was feeling off. I was stressed. I was working a lot, working a very stressful job.
From her studio, she described what happened September 17, 2022. She'd asked her husband to take her to the hospital along with one of her sons. Eli was in the room when doctors called for a crash cart.
That's what, and maybe that's, you know, he was standing right there looking at me, and I said in my mind, please don't let him see this.
Tracy was actively having a heart attack, a spontaneous coronary artery dissection, or SCAT. So not a clog, but a weak spot in her artery, just tore. She credits listening to her body as what kept her alive.
I think about that often, like, what if I would have just went to sleep, like gone upstairs and went to bed? I don't know if I would be here.
Healing included cardiac rehab and counseling. Her recovery brought something else. She's realized she doesn't need to say yes to everything.
I say no to things that I don't feel are important to me anymore.
Freeing up more time with family and friends.
Build relationships, because that's what's important in life.
All right, it's time for our question of the day. Okay, so it's National Grouch Day. We don't need that day, right?
We're gonna
No
turn
need
it
to
around.
be grumpy. Turn that frown around, upside down. That makes it a smile. So this weekend is right around the corner. So what is something that gives you joy? It doesn't have to be just on the weekend, but just in general.
In general, relaxing and coming home.
You like
And
relaxing?
taking a nice nap,
I
especially on the days I
second that
don't
one
have
right
to
there.
wake up early in the morning, which I like waking up early in the morning, but it takes a toll on you sometimes. So like taking a nice little
being
nap.
here. I like being here and being
Yeah.
with y'all. That actual alarm clock in the morning, I'm like, what
It's like,
are you? What
like-
is this joke?
It takes me about 30 minutes to wake
What
up.
is this joke?
What is this? After I'm up and awake, I'm like, all right, I like being here.
No, that's actually
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
You know what gives me joy? Having absolutely nothing on my calendar.
Right? Just a
Very
weekend of
rare,
nothing.
but like to just veg on the couch. I know that
Right.
you're not supposed to really want to do that, but I kind of
Like
want
bed
to.
rot.
A little bit. Kids do that all the time. I'm
Right.
like, what are y'all doing with your lives? But
There's weekends whenever you don't have anything planned, there's no events, you're not visiting anyone, no one's coming over, you don't have any chores to do.
I get a little giddy. I'm like,
Right?
I'm
Those
gonna
are the
have
best
coffee
weekends.
and just
Catch
sit on
up,
my couch.
sleep in.
Yeah, I don't know about y'all, but I get really excited to travel. Like, I haven't been on an
sure.
airplane in a while, so it was nice to, because I went to Colorado over the past weekend, which was really fun, by the way. But just the traveling part, just like, oh, I get to go somewhere.
Go out and do
you know?
something.
Yeah.
I think it's getting out of that normal routine that makes us happy because we're always
Yeah,
like
a little bit of
work
change.
work home, but then this gives you a little bit of change of I'm doing something fun.
Right, exactly. I
But
love
at the
that.
end of the day, I'd be busy all day, every day if I could just see my kids smile.
Right.
All day, every day.
That'd be so sweet.
It is sweet. They're mostly smile.
That's good.
That's good.
That's
Hey,
good.
Thank goodness.
Right.
But they are
Goodness.
teenagery sometimes because, you know.
And that's okay. They
They're
can
teens.
have their shining moments sometimes,
That's
even
right.
in the moments. All right, we're about to step away for a quick moment while we do our over-the-air cut-in with a quick news update.
We'll be right back here on CBS 19 Plus.
Good morning, y'all. I'm Jesus Martinez.
And I'm Dana Dixon. Thanks for being with us for this news update. A former state lawmaker is suing the Northeast Texas Municipal Water District. They're being accused of violating state open meetings laws while negotiating to sell water from Lake of the Pines to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. That's according to our paper partners at the Longview News Journal. Former state representative David Simpson of Avenger filed the lawsuit in Morris County. Lake of the Pines supplies water to several East Texas cities, including Longview and Marshall. Residents and local leaders have pushed back against any plan to sell water outside the region, saying it could hurt future growth here at home. Simpson isn't seeking money. He just wants the court to order the district to follow the Texas Open Meetings Act. District officials have not commented. Well, it's still unclear what's next for Upshur County District Attorney after announcing yesterday he is retiring. Billy Byrd says he will step away at the end of October after more than 17 years of service. Byrd says he's already notified Governor Abbott of his intentions. By law, his first assistant, Barry Wallace, will take over his duties. That is until the governor makes an appointment or someone is elected next year. Byrd also says he has to announce his retirement plans before he can publicly announce any plans for another elected office.
Oh, the winter is almost over. The East Texas Jamboree gets underway today, and this sweet festival draws around 100,000 visitors each year to Upshur County. And it's also CBS19 Day today. We're going to have our crew live from downtown Gilmore this afternoon, starting at noon. And the celebration includes livestock shows, live music, exhibits, a night carnival, of course, at the Courthouse Square. And who wouldn't want more yams, right? Just text the word YAM to 903-600-2600 and we'll send you a full list of what you can expect from this sweet event. Again, that's YAMs to 903-600-2600. Also back this year, the popular YAM taxi service. Last year, more than 2,600 rides were given using just 5 taxis. This year, that number has grown to 9. Drivers can accept tips, but those tips are donated back to the Upshur County Crime Stoppers. This year, there's also new pickup and drop-off locations, including the Crime Stoppers headquarters at 306 Titus Street, which will also serve as the lost and found in child safety area during the festival.
Hoping they get some good weather
right.
for the
Oh, it'll
Jamboree.
definitely be good. It'll definitely be good weather for you out there, especially as we go into this afternoon. It's going to be a little bit on the toasty side, but the humidity going to be staying nice and low. That's really good for us, but not so much for the fire danger when it comes to that. We got very, very dry weather. We've had dry weather for the past several days. We now have moderate to high, even very high risk for fires here across the area, basically meaning any fires that start will have a very easy time spreading. That's why we do have burn bans that now include most of Deep East Texas here, basically along and south of I-20 is where you're going to likely find these burn bans that are going to be in effect until further notice. So that is something that we're going to have to watch for. That area of high pressure still lingering right on top of us. Our next storm system is off to the west, and your 7-day forecast shows that storm risk on Saturday.
AI is increasingly commonplace in our daily lives, especially for those on the job hunt, looking for an assist writing resumes or those cover letters.
Yeah, but already some employers say they're tired of job candidates who rely too much on AI. Michael George looks into this AI pushback.
I think employers are worried about overuse of AI.
Daniel Zhao, chief economist at the job search site Glassdoor, said when he was recently hiring interns, about half the candidates had clearly used AI to write their resumes, cover letters, and responses.
It can be very hard to pick and choose between two candidates who are both using the same process.
Employers surveyed by the career resource site CV Genius identified AI-generated content as the biggest red flag when hiring someone. 74% of employers said they can spot an AI-generated job application, and more than half said they're significantly less likely to hire a candidate who relies on AI.
I think this is a huge problem that a lot of job seekers don't think about. If everybody is using AI to edit their resume, edit their cover letter, then how do you actually stand out?
Zhao says AI has moved some companies to place more value on the human touch.
When employers see that something is written by that candidate and they know that it hasn't been written AI, they have more confidence that that's based on that candidate's skills and experiences.
Doris Biggs is currently employed at an office in New York. She says she's not against using AI, just not for landing a job.
I am the personal touch kind of person. It shows your authentic self. I mean, then the person really knows.
Zhao says you don't have to abandon AI entirely. There can still be a place for it in the job search.
Using AI for proofreading, that's totally fine, especially if it's your resume or your cover letter. When you start to get into things that are supposed to be in your own words, that's where it's riskier to use AI.
More employers looking for less artificial intelligence and more human intelligence in their next hire. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
All good advice there. 8:04 this morning. News before you head out the door this morning. The fire danger is climbing across the state of Texas, and agencies are ramping up efforts. Governor Greg Abbott has expanded the state's disaster declaration and activated additional emergency resources. The Texas A&M Forest Service has raised that wildfire preparedness to a level 3. And meanwhile, parts of West Texas are facing a different kind of threat, the risk of heavy rainfall and potential flooding. Governor Abbott has directed the Texas Division of Emergency Management to coordinate with local officials, and multiple state agencies are now mobilizing to support wildfire and flood response efforts across the state.
Well, with the government shutdown now in its third week, worry is starting to creep in for families across the country and here in East Texas. Federal workers are starting to live off partial pay as food assistance programs are beginning to run out of money. House Speaker Mike Johnson is warning the impasse could be the longest to date, with Republicans and Democrats still struggling to find a way forward. Lawmakers will still receive pay during the shutdown, while many federal workers, as we mentioned, have already missed their first full paycheck.
And we're just hours away now from the East Texas Jamboree. This beloved Upshur County festival draws thousands for fun, food, and tradition. We're taking you there as we kick off our East Texas favorite. Starting at noon, we're live from the fairgrounds again through our evening shows as we show you what makes this Jamboree so special. We've got all the coverage you want starting today, and hopefully, Joel, that weather shapes up to be pretty nice today.
Yeah, yippee for the Jamboree, and yippee for this forecast too. It's going to be a good one going forward here. Very, very dry. On the other hand, we got sunshine and mostly sunny skies for your Wednesday and Thursday. The next thing we're really going to be paying attention to as far as rain chances go is going to be on Saturday. We got a weather impact alert in place for Saturday for the threat for strong to severe thunderstorms Saturday afternoon. So you definitely want to be weather aware when it comes to that. On the other side, though, we got a cold front that's going to be sparking these showers and thunderstorms. Once that moves through, we're down into the low 80s for Sunday, middle 80s for Monday. Look at that low temperature on Monday, 55 degrees. How about that? We love that, don't we?
I know, that makes me smile.
Does that give you joy?
Right? It brings us joy today.
It's my joy.
There you go.
It is. All right. Well, thank you so much for continuing your day with us here on Morning Y'all on CBS 19 Plus. Make sure to catch the noon show from part of the Jamboree out there. Joel's going to be out there starting at noon on CBS 19 and on CBS 19 Plus.
Yeah, you're going to want to keep it here for the latest news and weather throughout the day as well. And we hope you have a good morning, and we'll see you dark and early tomorrow.